Bethany here. I left Sparky last week, so he decided to ditch me this week. What can I say? All right, so I'm on episode number 49 of Ask the Puppy Trainer Show, and I got some really great questions for you today. Not as many as usual, which means I will be drawing out my answers if you don't ask more questions in the comments. Okay, so I'm going to jump right into it. Just a reminder, you guys can ask questions by direct messaging us on Instagram. Usually is better than TikTok, just to be honest, as far as us picking up your question. Please give us the age of your puppy and the breed. It's super, super helpful. Okay, gonna jump, woo! Yes, I have the magical circle light. All right, shave 10 years off me right there. Okay, guys, Nico and Dallas, they have a question about their 13-week-old Aussie. Says, I try to follow a schedule. I keep him up for an hour after waking up in the morning, which makes him nap for 3 hours with no barking. Okay. If I put him in the crate before that, he'll bark throughout the entire nap. We do a calm training session with his breakfast, since he can't go out on walks yet. 13 weeks old. Okay. After 20 minutes, I can tell he's tired. Wants to keep going. He'll hang out in the puppy proofing area. Awesome. I'll give him a bone. He'll start barking and nipping at me. Begins offering random commands like he wants to keep training. He wants attention. I'm sure you're right. After 20 minutes, his little brain is spent and he's less sharp, and he gets more fussy. It's like a crying baby. If they don't need to be fed or changed, I think those are the two things. I don't have kids yet. They tend to just cry out of being cranky. There's like this little window of time where you first start to see your kid want to fall asleep and you're supposed to get them to sleep. If you miss that window, then it takes you 10 times longer and they're screaming bloody murder for a while. There's a lot of similarities to puppies, guys. He'll start barking, nipping at me. A firm no. I redirect. Sometimes it works. But not during this time if he's really amped up. A play session after the training makes him lose all control. Did you hear that, Instagram and TikTok? You have a dog that seems like they have extra energy, and if you do a play session, they lose even more control. Man, Nico and Dallas, you nailed this. So many, sorry, I'm straying off point, but like I said, I don't have as many questions, so I can. So many people struggle with this. They play with their dogs double or triple what they should because they think that it will drain their puppy's energy because their puppy seems like it wants more, but they're just overstimulated. And so they're being bossy, they're cranky, they're tired, and they don't need play. And when you do more play, you actually make being overstimulated normal for the puppy. Several weeks of that, goodbye, calm family dog. It's like not even a potential option anymore. So keep that in mind, please. So many puppies, we see it a lot with doodles, that seem like they have tons of energy. I have the highest energy doodle, when actually they're just used to being overstimulated. It started out as cranky, tired, and so they go into zoomy mode and nip you, and then it turns into what the norm is for them, and you think they're high energy and they're not. Okay, anyway, I swear I'm gonna finish this. A play session after training makes him lose all control. Kong doesn't keep him entertained. What do I do during those 40 minutes? How can I help him stay awake but calm before his nap? Okay. All right. I got a handle on this. So sorry, I don't have like Sparky to interject while I collect my thoughts, and there's a lot here. So she mentions puppy proofing area, and the puppy won't just go and settle down with a Kong or something. It's bothering her, nipping at her, and things like that. That's because you cannot do you can't be, this isn't just you, this is most people with puppies. You can't be around your puppy in the same area when you're like just chilling and doing something. They're gonna probably bother you. Not every puppy. I mean, some puppy might go and mind their own business, but it's not uncommon for that to happen. There's a few things you could do. This is what I like to do, which is very hard. I can hear like Sparky arguing with me in my head that people don't do this anymore, but I'm going to give it to you anyway because it's so super helpful. You could work on spatial pressure techniques of like, not right now, like no, moving into your puppy and then ignoring them. And when they bother you again, moving into them and then ignoring them. And if they bark, I would also ignore that too. But if they invade your space, it's like, no. Our dogs have lost all boundaries. Like they think that our personal person belongs to them because we're always picking them up and petting them. We don't actually practice sending them away. All right, so that takes some skill. I'm not gonna lie. It might go horribly for you, but try it. Put your puppy on leash though, so that way you can also do like a little bit of leash pressure out and away from you when you're like, no, bark, 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 you don't love me, bark, 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 bark. I don't care. They come back in, pick up the leash, no, and move into them. Maybe you need to stand up. Maybe you could just kind of bump them off of you, like cut it out. Then when your puppy calms down a bit and stops bothering you, if they go and get into other things, which is very possible, a lot of driven puppies will do that, that's when you can pick them up and put them in their crate, okay? Okay, so that's the really hard version, but it's really the thing that everybody's missing with their puppy. So the easier version is you actually need a playpen or something to contain your puppy, and you're away from your puppy. So Sparky calls it supervised separation, where your puppy is in an area and you are separate from your puppy. Now they may still bark their head off and you'll have to address that. You create a boundary with the gate. You take the gate and kind of be like, no, and make sure your puppy is calm before you walk away. Don't turn and walk away from a puppy that's like in follower mode, wanting to follow you through the gate, and then they get frustrated that they can't. So there's some special things to that too. But that's what you need to be doing rather than you guys are just out together, all right? Okay, so the last thing I want to say to you is crate that dog. I don't care if he barks and crate. Tell him, do the puppy training, okay? You can play with him and mix it up. Sometimes play for 10 minutes, then do some calming work or just obedience work. Sometimes do obedience work, 10 minutes of play, and then 5 minutes of slow and controlled crate, down, if he can do down. Let's go, turn, crate, down, piece of kibble or whatever you use, very calmly, and calm him down. Spatial pressure with the door. He shouldn't rush out a door. I would do that, for a few minutes. And if he barks, sometimes try just ignoring him, see if he settles. But if you hear any scratching on the crate or anything like that, nope, on top of the crate. Or even on the door. Sometimes I'll do that. I'm just like, hey, and I'll just make a noise on the door. Knock it off and turn around and walk away. That might be enough. That might be enough. But don't let him make you adjust your whole life to what he wants. I know I compared him to a baby, but he's not a baby. And so you want to make some adjustments in teaching him how to do what you need him to do. Otherwise, that barking and stuff, he'll do that down the line for anything. Oh, I need to go to the grocery store before dinner. I forgot XYZ. I got to put my puppy in crate. He's going to bark his head off. So you want to go ahead and start working on that as well, I would say. Okay, anyway, I'm moving on.
We have some great questions that have come in live too.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to do a couple of these and we'll do a couple of those, and I got plenty of time. All right. Jay and Nicole are 1-year-olds, still considered puppies. They're adolescent puppies. So 5 months, 6 months, you start to see the adolescence kick in for like a kid that's like 11, 12, 13, So anyway, are they still trainable at this age? I can go get a 12-year-old dog from the shelter right now that has some behavioral issues, and I can rehab them. Now there will be some genetic limitations. Like if they're very, very fearful, like they were just born a more fearful puppy, things like that. I can't magically train that. But if that dog, got returned because it's a 10-year-old bully breed and still jumps up on people and got returned to the shelter, I can teach that dog not to jump up on me, 10 years old, like that. So my point is, it's not about the dog. If you're having troubles with your dog, I should say it's not just about the dog. I don't want to put it all on the people. I'm like a middle ground person, but you need to change. So if you want your dog to change, you need to change. I don't know what that is for you because I don't have specifics, but I'll just leave it at that. Absolutely. Not only can you train your dog, but you needed to start yesterday. Okay. All right. Gemini Star says, our 5-month-old puppy is scared of all other dogs. How do we help him overcome fear? Oh God, Gemini. This is the big one. Okay. All right. 5-month-old puppy, scared of all other dogs. I am not going to give you the answer that you want, probably. How can we help him overcome this fear? What I am going to do is I'm going to give you boring foundational work that's going to be critical for you to change the dog's perception, okay? You can't work on changing your dog's perception right now. You can't. You first have to be to your dog a protector, a leader, a guider, okay? So one of the ways that we do that is we actually, like if I was to get your dog right now, for 2 weeks, the dog that I take in would not have anything to do with my pack. He would see my pack, he would see me interact with my pack, but would never smell, never have anything to do with them. I just want to build this connection between the two of us. And eventually I'm going to be able to go out on a walk with my 5-month-old puppy, and I'm going to turn, and my puppy turns with me. Good food. Sit. Good food with nothing around. Nothing around. You need to be practicing this when it's easy. In the house, in the yard, in the hallway of your apartment building, in your front driveway, on your block. Stop going for walks. Go out and work your dog. Turn. Stop, sit, food. Good. Not good job. Stay away from excitement. Good. Sound like a motivational coach, okay? Like a track coach or a football coach, and slap some butts and good job, let's go. That's what you need to sound like, unless it scares your puppy. And then maybe you can dial it down a little bit. But my point is just don't use softer voices. Don't say, it's okay. Don't do any of that stuff. You're in control. I got this, let's go. Turn, sit, food, good job. That's the energy I want you to have. And then when you know in your neighborhood you have certain dogs behind fences, do not pass by the fence. But this is what you can do. What can your puppy handle and still take food? So if I got a house here and I'm walking, stop, sit, takes food. Good. Does a turn. Good. Go a little closer. Stop, sit, takes food. Good. Dog starts to bark in this house up here. Puppy won't take food anymore. So I turn and give some distance. Stop, sit, won't take food. I give even more distance, finally takes food. Ooh, I head back. We call it pressure on, pressure off, pressure on, pressure off. I get the puppy as close as I can, and then eventually I cross the street if I have to keep going. I do not walk in front of that house with a barking dog. And you do that with every dog that you see. Stop passing by dogs. Stop having this, I don't know if you have this attitude, but don't have this attitude of like, oh, maybe you can say hi to this nice dog, my neighbor dog, stuff like that. No. First, you just want your dog to pay attention to you. This is what builds confidence. And if you don't have that, even when you do start to do some socialization and another dog maybe pushes your dog around, or maybe your dog pushes the other dog around because it gets uncomfortable, and you're like, hey, knock it off. They're not gonna listen to you. And then your dog's gonna go back to being fearful, and then at 1-year-old reactive. That's usually the chain that I see as a trainer when I'm working with reactive dogs. It started out in the zone you're in, and owners accidentally put too much pressure on their dogs instead of focusing on the relationship. Okay, with that being said, work on that for a little while, and then, if you have someone who has a dog that's friendly, crate trained would be great, or able to be put in a pen and have your puppy sniff through a pen, or have this, friend's dog in a crate where your puppy can investigate, and then you can be like, puppy, come sit food off of the crate. The reason I say that is I don't want your puppy in a crate either. I don't want them to feel trapped. Sometimes that works, but I don't want them to feel trapped. But the reason I say that is because let your puppy go up to the other dog and then come sit good. And that way the dog in the crate is not at the end of a leash dying to get to your dog. If you have a friend with a trained dog that can sit next to them, that's ideal. Your puppy needs to feel safe. So be really, really specific who you do let your puppy smell. And the other thing I'll say is face-to-face is never good. I'll literally have like a really excited but easygoing puppy. I'll hold them with their butt in front of me and let the nervous dog sniff their butt, and then recall the dogs away from each other and then let them go again, just until my puppy gets used to their presence, and see if they relax. If they don't relax, you don't force it. Okay, I gave you lots of tips. Good luck. You want to give me one of those?
Sure. From Shamblievable. What do we do first right when we get home with puppy? 8-week-old Bernedoodle, picking him up on April 9th.
Well, the first thing that you do is you send... Oh yeah, that's right. So it's an 8-week-old Bernedoodle puppy that they're getting very soon. What's the first thing that they do? Well, that is an excellent, cool social media question. Seems like so easy and fun and quick that they can just edit me in this cute little TikTok thing. No. There's about 10 things that is the first thing you need to do, is 10 things. First of all, you need to direct message us, and we will send you our schedule. It's good for potty training, playtime, supervised free time, and it just gives you a jumping off point. So that's the first thing you need to do. Second thing you need to do is you need to get a crate. It needs to be in a warm room, or I don't know, there needs to be some type of warmth to it, which will help your puppy adjust faster to being alone and in crate. Don't go get a fancy bed. Just go get a cheap bed at Ross or Costco or something for now, because at some point that Bernedoodle or whatever it was is going to chew it up. So just do some old towels, old beds, things like that. Towels in the crate. Don't be mad at your puppy for chewing stuff up. It's normal. Just make sure they're not ingesting it. If your puppy ingests anything, you gotta pull it out. And they just get the hard floor. I know that's hard to deal with, but make it warm in the room, and they get a hard floor. Get some Kongs. I like just the traditional Kongs. If you get those rubber Kongs, for puppies you can get pastel. If they're the color of pastel, they're easy to chew. And so you can put like a little bit of stuff on the inside so they can lick it out. Your toys, you do not leave any cloth toys out. The only thing they should have access to is like a Nylabone or those rubber toys that are Kong-like. Do not leave your dog to play with cloth toys on their own or anything like that. Stay away from squeaker toys for right now, unless you find out down the line you need to build play drive. Then you'd do that, but I wouldn't do it right off the bat. Just go get a rope toy or a soft cloth toy, and that'll be your fetch. Let's see, what else to put on the spot. So I got your schedule, got your crate. You can do a playpen if you want, but I don't know, that dog's gonna get big fast. I might not even bother, but you could if you wanted to. We do a crate rotation schedule. You'll want a harness and a leash, and then for this type of dog, I'd probably put them on a slip leash pretty quickly. You want some really healthy treats. My favorite is real meat dog food, not even the treats, but the actual dog food. It's not the cheapest thing in the world, but you're only doing like a taste, right? Make sure you got a good healthy food to slowly switch him over to. You want YouTube sounds to go ahead and start desensitizing him while he's hanging out in crate. You want to practice handling every day, physically handling your puppy. Belly rubs, grab toenail. Belly rubs, fold back ear, 3 to 5 minutes a day. Massage and handling. You want to go ahead and start working that puppy for food right away. I like to just do a simple relationship game. Come break food every morning for breakfast. Finally, if you want to, you should go to thepuppyacademy.com and click on the online section if you're interested in our entire program. Hours and hours of videos and homework and all kinds of references to what you need step by step with your puppy. Okay, I'm gonna do one of these real quick. What do I do about my puppy barking at next door neighbors? Okay, stop only practicing it when your next door neighbors happen to come around. I don't know how old your puppy is. If he's over 4 or 5 months, we might do like a pet corrector squirt to see if it makes him go, what is that? But what you really need is a strong redirect. Come place food. Come place food. For really, really reactive puppies, I literally have a little bag of food that's on me at all times, but that can get kind of annoying, or sitting on the coffee table. And that way, every time it happens organically, come, good, place right next to me, or sit. food, good. Then I stand up, come, sit, food, come, sit, food. So that's how you manage it. But if you want to really work on it, you have to spend 5 to 10 minutes multiple times a day and just kind of, puppy, come, good, sit, food, before they react. Catch them before the reaction. So you start to condition when they hear knocking or keys rustling. You might have to, you're going to have to get someone to help you with this as well, as much as you can, to start to help your puppy know how to view this. So eventually they hear keys rustling and those ears perk up. They're about to bark, and then eventually they like look at you. I like to do, instead of saying no, I like to do an enough and like a big hand gesture. And I don't teach it like a no. There's nothing going on around me. And I just go, enough, good, food, enough, good, food, 15 times, 3 times a day for a week. And then the next time that puppy starts, because you didn't catch him early like I said to, you're gonna go, puppy, enough, and see if they come over for a piece of food. Try it. Okay, it works on some puppies really well. All right, let's do one more from here. Our 5-month-old puppy, I did that one. This is from Cassie. Tips for potty training 9-week-old golden doodle when the weather is horrible, windy, and rainy. Well, that's a great question. So I'll tell you, when I lived in an area that was horrible, windy, and rainy, and I had the ability, like I had a garage area, it was my family's, we had a garage area, we would put like a grassy area on the garage patio. So we still exited the house, walked through the rain over the walkway, and then they had this outdoor but covered area. So that might give you some ideas. I saw something really clever from someone who lived in a snowy area, which they actually put a big plywood board down on top of the grass. There was still some grass when it was snowing, and then they would lift the board up so you're surrounded by snow, and then there's a grassy area, but that doesn't help with the mud. You could, honestly, I hate puppy pads, but you could do puppy pads temporarily outside. If the puppy's small though, 9-week-old golden doodle, the puppy pads would be fine for you. If it's a male, once they reach like 10 to 12 weeks, I don't like puppy pads for older males, but anyway, that gives you another idea. I know this is gonna sound silly, but I'm not kidding, like an umbrella every time you go out. And I kid you not, I used to have to do this for my border collie when we first got him. It was pitiful. But I would put the umbrella over him, not me. And so he's at the end of the 6-foot leash smelling around in the area, and the umbrella is like out there. So anyway, hopefully those are some tips. I bet there's some better ones. This is like the one time I miss Sparky. Because if he would say something, it would make me think of some other things. But at the end of the day, you got to do it. Oh, I have one more tip. So they're not, when they first go outside, they're like ready to potty out of crate, and then like everything just gets sucked back in, right? So spend 2 to 3 minutes outside. They're miserable. Bring them back inside, put them in crate, 10 minutes. Hopefully their system will settle even more. And then on their second outing, they have to potty. Like they just can't hold it anymore, and they'll learn to do it really quickly and come back inside. Fingers crossed. You could also get a potty patch. You know that you can get a patch of grass for $25 on Amazon. They don't give you anything to put it in, but I think those are really cool. You could come up with something creative with that. If you have like a balcony or a patio or something like that, you could build like a little wooden thing, and $25 a grassy patch probably lasts you a month. There's another one too, $25 on Amazon, putting grassy patch. Okay, do we have any more on there?
Oh yeah, lots.
Okay.
How do you get the point across to an 11-week-old Havanese that pottying on the floor is a no, and the puppy pee pad is where she needs to go? So
Havanese, 11 weeks old, won't potty on the pee pad. Well, that's not your Havanese's fault. Sorry, I'm not trying to be mean, but you know what I mean. So it does not come naturally to most dogs to pee inside. And then once they do pee inside, they're like, okay, maybe this is normal. And then they just keep peeing wherever they lay. So you have to be super specific and helpful. So let's say you have a pen area where the puppy is. There can't be any access to the floor, because once your puppy's peed on a carpet 2, 3, 4 times, even if they're accidents, it's now a habit. So there has to be puppy pads all over the area where your puppy is. 11 weeks old shouldn't have free roaming in the home, so I'm gonna assume there's a pen or a blocked off kitchen scenario. There's literally a puppy pad everywhere except for one square where maybe there's like a towel and a nylabone or something for them to hang out. But everything else is covered with puppy pads for 2 weeks. Then you take, and I know they're expensive, but that's what happens when you train with puppy pads. Then you take one puppy pad away for 2 weeks. Then another puppy pad away for 2 weeks. Oh, had an accident on the floor, you put the puppy pad back. It's a much slower process than teaching your dog to go outside usually, I'll be honest, but it sticks with a lot of dogs. If you stick with it for like the 6 months, it'll probably really stick with her. Okay, let's go on.
My 5-month-old son, Samoyed puppy, is bored. Even after exercise and playtime, he keeps barking and staring through the window.
A Samoyed, excuse me, sorry, don't send me hate mail. I know, Samoyed, yeah. It's a 5-month-old, is barking, demanding playtime even after plenty of exercise. He's staring through the window, demanding more attention. It's because he can see you. It's very, very frustrating. That's why this is like supervised separation that Sparky talks about, where your dog is in another area, but they can see you and they can't get to you. You're accidentally causing a ton of frustration that has to be prevented, okay? Your puppy they're pack animals. It's so hard for them to understand they can't do this. It's hard enough in a pen inside. I like just crate rotation, but I'm totally okay with your dog spending some time in the yard. That's a big enough breed. 5 months old is a little young for me, but I grew up on a farm, so I totally get it. I'm okay with that. But you just have to know that if your puppy can see you through a window, their brain is in forward motion. We call it follower mode or pack drive. It's how we teach. It's why we teach Let's Go work. It taps into their pack drive and it sees how strong it is. Your Samoyed has strong pack drive. And so their brain is in follower mode when they see you in the kitchen and they're getting very upset. They don't understand. You have to go out and tell them no, to make them give space from the door. And you have to do that. This is so hard with outdoor dogs if you don't have anything to cover up the windows. You have to do that over and over and over again. They cannot be in follower mode when they see you go inside. So here's the problem. This is already a habit. So if I was you, I don't know if you're doing crate training mixed with outdoor work, but that's what we would do. Or a pen in the corner of the yard. Get a dog house, get a pen. You still have to do this with the pen. You don't want the dog to be in follower mode when you close the pen, but at least they don't have access to get to the window and see you, because that's not fair. He's asking you for help and you got to help him. So hopefully, I don't know if I was specific enough there, but hopefully that gave you some ideas of why that's not going to work. And in my opinion, it's unfair to just, he'll get over it. It's like, no, he won't. He may not, is my point, and he may redirect it and start to destroy your yard and get into trouble in other ways because the brain is in forward motion. It's in follower mode. It hasn't been told to stay in a way that the puppy understands. It's a little young. Okay.
We'll do one more.
One more.
Romeo the Husky. How do I get Romeo to stop biting his leash when I take him outside? Okay, so 2 things. Oh, it's a Husky. Oh, I got no help for you at all. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so you need more food work. Huskies already are super independent, pushy dogs. And by independent, they also have easy to have separation anxiety. It's a really interesting thing. It's because they have a high level of social pack drive, but yet they're incredibly resilient, independent, pushy, playful dogs. So you got all this stuff working around, right? So what I would like you to do is really get some better food drive in this dog. It's really important. So in the house, the dog is on leash and you just do come, sit, food. Place, sit, food. Come, sit, food for 10 to 15 minutes over and over again every day for a week. And then you practice it out in the yard, you practice it in these other times. That's because the second thing I'm going to tell you to do is to kind of correct your dog, manage your dog, teach them not to do this anymore. It's not fair for you to try to all of a sudden be in charge when you don't have the relationship on the back end, the food work, and not excitement, just structured, dog come, good, like motivational food work. Not good boy, oh, you're so sweet when you're not biting the leash. No, none of that. It's just you're in charge, you're the teacher. It's fun because it's
a type of work that the dog enjoys, right? So anyway, that's so critical for your foundation. You don't get to do what I say next without that. But when your puppy is biting the leash, you are just going to calmly stand up very straight, spine very straight, hips, knees underneath you, like not like cocked, like chilling, like just straight, facing the puppy directly. And you're just gonna do pressure up in the air. And you're just gonna hold it. I would like you to play around with a no, one little no, no, stop, no, none of that. Just no, and you can do a little bit of pressure, like step in towards the puppy a little bit and a little bit of pressure back and away from you, and then freeze. The second the puppy stops biting, you better relax that leash right away. Sorry, I said I wouldn't do that anymore. The politician move, relax that leash right away, and while this is happening, it's like you've got a piece of food, and then relax. Puppy, sit if he's not already sitting, or just say good and give him the food just for letting go of the leash. So rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Then try to start catching it early. If the dog starts nudging, I see this with huskies a lot, they'll just like nudge the leash and test you. Or if they mouth you, they'll lick you, to test you, or nudge you, boop you, just to test the waters. When it comes to nudging the leash, freeze, focus all attention on your dog. Relax, good boy, let's go. All right. Hopefully that helps you guys, and I'll see you next week. Same time, same place, Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye.